to Antony Loewenstein, an Israel affairs analyst, author of the Palestine Laboratory, My Israel Question. Antony, thanks so much indeed for taking the time. How important is the current political situation in terms of what's just happened there in West Jerusalem, with Benjamin Netanyahu making a comeback and looking to form what will probably be Israel's most right-wing government?
I think it's vital. Obviously, this attack has happened a few hours ago. We don't really know, of course, who did it yet. That there are various suspicions. But the political context here is, as you say, vital. That Israelis a few weeks ago elected the most far-right government in its history. There are a number of far-right fascist members of the Israeli parliament who are likely to be senior members of the Israeli cabinet, many of whom actually advocate the complete ethnic cleansing of Palestinians from both Israel itself and the West Bank and Gaza. So, I mean, one can obviously only guess and speculate who actually was behind these attacks, which in some ways is, not particularly relevant in a way, beyond saying that there is profound anger, distrust, and fear amongst many Palestinians in Palestine and Israel itself about what this incoming Israeli government will look like and mean for them. And I think what really is important here is within half an hour of this attack happening, a man called Itamar Ben-Gvir, who is the likely incoming police minister, who's a far-right fascist in Israel, is calling for targeted assassinations of Palestinians. He's calling for Palestinian villages being sealed off. He's calling for essentially mass targeting of Palestinians across both Israel and the West Bank. This is a political context in which such events happen. And we're at a moment now which is incredibly vulnerable because so many people in the West are rightly concerned about where Israel appears to be going, moving towards not just a right-wing government, a far-right quasi-fascist government that advocates a complete ethnic cleansing of many Palestinians. And this kind of attack, one can only presume, has some relevance or context to that.
Given what you've just said, Antony, how worried are you about a new intifada?
Look, I was living in East Jerusalem for many years until a few years ago in a Palestinian community, and there's often, I guess, not just media speculation of another intifada, but also a sense that there is deep, not just distrust, I might add, of Israeli police and army, but also the Palestinian Authority itself. This is a body that the West and the US and Australia and many other countries have backed for decades now. It's deeply corrupt. Mahmoud Abbas is in his late 80s. He has clearly not got a long time to live. There's no clear successor. And in many Palestinian areas, there is really profound, not just distrust, as I said, of Israelis, but Palestinians as well. Look, an intifada in some ways is all about anger, frustration, and repression. Palestinians I know, who I speak to regularly, they understand. In the last two intifadas, they paid the highest price for those intifadas. Now, it's not for me to say what should happen in Palestine itself. I wouldn't dare suggest that. But there is a risk of that happening again because people feel hopeless. The international community is mostly absent. The Western powers essentially support Israel uncritically. And even when there is about to be a far-right Israeli government that believes in indefinite occupation of Palestinian territory, even then, it appears that much of the West is unwilling to take the steps that are required to challenge that. So I am concerned about it, both from my Israeli and Palestinian friends there.
Antony Loewenstein, thank you again, Antony.
Thank you.